I think it's really important for people to understand and yeah, kind of get that understanding around what it means to be fulfilled. Because the really easy way to identify if you're not fulfilled is if you're constantly reaching for short-term hits, short-term gratification. It's like you're either carrying the fullness and you don't need to reach for things and grab, like, as if it's almost like you're never hungry. Like you
Yeah.
just never have to eat ever again. You're just like, which we wouldn't want to do because everyone loves food. But let's just pretend you never have to eat again. So you're not just like, sugar hit, dinner, where's the next meal? It's kind of like, well, I never have to eat again. It's like I never have to try to give myself a little kind of injection of hit of like adrenaline to
Mm.
like, yeah, that's the boost, or those endorphins to like, fuck yeah, this is what life's about. It's like we bring a sense of fullness, and then from that place we can choose. See, we don't really have a choice when we're reactive and needing to,
Yes.
we're actually getting kind of pinballed around to what we have
Yeah,
to do to appease our sense of self reactively.
exactly.
When you're
Oh,
full, you can
you make so
choose.
much sense. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And things come to you. You know, I've met so many amazing people. I've had so many great opportunities, especially in the last year, that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't have started to do, work and got up working with a healer, and I'm working with an NLP coach. And I, every time I can, I reset in my meditation so I can just be in it again and learn more. And for me, I've become an introvert almost the last year, and I'm not. I actually would never identify as an introvert, but
Yeah.
I'm now actually genuinely loving my own time and putting back into myself. And I think during COVID in particular, like,
Mm.
I really embraced it. I was doing Wim Hof breathing every day. I felt like my routine was really good. I wasn't on social media that much. I was filling up my cup again and doing what I needed to do. And my soul felt happy. For the first time in a long time, I felt calm
Mm.
amongst all of the shit, because it was what I needed to get back into my meditation. Because for me, I've meditated on and off for 3 years.
Mm.
When I say on and off, like during ISO, I was meditating morning and night, 20 minutes. And
Mm.
that's amazing. And this morning I meditated, and I'll do one after this. So for me, with my schedule before isolation, it was so hectic. It was so hectic. My days were long. I was working long hours. I was constantly tired, mentally tired. And during isolation, I got my energy back, like my mental energy,
Mm.
my spiritual energy. And it's a nice place to now, like, sort of now be injected back into the world and back into work, and to feel rejuvenated almost.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Gandhi has this really interesting quote that says, if you meditate for an hour a day, it's really good. But if you're super, super busy, like you got a really busy lifestyle, then 2 hours is preferred. And I feel like he's a cheeky one. I feel like that's a really cheeky quote, but it's true.
It's amazing. It's so
because
true.
because what meditation does from an energy perspective, it's just like boosts your energy. So stress is essentially the level of demands that we have to face on the day. And then when we meditate, or the energy that we have to deal with those demands, if the demands are greater than the energy that we have to deal with it, so the demands are more than what we have energy, then there's a surplus of demands, and that's stress. That feels like stress. If our energy is equal, though, then we're kind of like maximizing our energy. We're living a full life, which is great. And if you're busier and you're taking on more demands and you meditate less, it's way harder to like find the time to do those things
Oh,
that you
yeah.
did when you're busier. But it's like a double loss. It's like you actually need it more. And that's the hardest
Yeah.
thing for people to get around. And the core problem is that we're doing more than what we ultimately should really be doing,
Mm.
as because of the lifestyle that is normalized in our society. But I also think, like, as you expand, you can become more potent with the time that you have, and you can meet the best of both worlds. That's kind of like what I'm juggling with at the moment, and also asking for support and reaching out and all those kind of things. It's a juggling act. And I think that you taking the time to meditate is phenomenal, because when I think what happened with a lot of people with ISO is they're like, all right, now I'm an ISO, I've got the time to do all those things. And they probably doubled down more on short-term gratification because they had less connection, less automatic fullness, and they would have been needing short-term hits more, even though they
Yeah.
have more time. So the fact that you actually took the time to meditate and like rebuild that relationship of love and that time for self, it's amazing.
I definitely think meditation is self love. And every time I avoid it, I tell myself, I mustn't not like myself today. And that's terrible because I do. It's just that I'm trying to avoid like a situation. It's
Yeah,
always when you're avoiding meditations when you need it the most, which is heavy because we all have those icky meditations where you sit there and you're like, "Ugh, fuck this. Like, I don't want to be
yeah,
doing this. But those grimy ones are the ones that you get the most out of, even though
yes.
they're really uncomfortable.
Yeah, because what's happening when you have those agitating meditations is that that's when it's processing the stress. If it's gratifying the whole time, you didn't have as much stress to process, and so you kind
Mm.
of just joyed and bathed in that feeling of
Which
self-love.
is the best feeling. Like when,
Yeah, it's so
like
nice.
during ISO, I had such good meditations, but before isolation, I was meditating. And you could do it anywhere, but I'd pull my car up in between meetings and sit in the car. It's just not as nice, you know? But
Totally.
you can definitely squeeze it in at any point. Like I used to do it when I was getting my makeup done for something. I literally close
Sure.
my eyes. I photo shoots if I had like a big day or if I had a script to learn, I'd actually go, hey guys, do you mind if I meditate while you do my hair? I'm like, yeah, no
Yeah.
worries. Like, well, I've been up since 3. Like I need it. So
Yeah.
there's
Well,
always a way to
I
squeeze
would
it
love
in.
to hear from you because one frame that I've always had is that I've adopted over the last couple of years is that every relapse is research as opposed to kind of like labeling like you failed. It's more like, oh, I've just done some research. How did it go? Because like maybe I'm trying not to eat sugar at the moment, but I ate it. Cool. How to go down? What's the evidence there? Where's the data?
Every relapse is research.
Yeah. And so like,
Oh, I've got to write that down. I'm sorry. I have to write that down.
uh,
That's the best thing I've ever heard.
appreciate it. So I'd love to hear from you because it sounds like you've done some amazing research, and a lot of people that are listening won't have meditation as like a daily, twice
Wow.
20-minute meditation. And you do at the moment, but sometimes you haven't. And so, what have you noticed a difference in your days when you don't do it versus when you do?
Absolutely. When I'm not meditating, I feel more on edge. I feel more reactive.
Mm,
I feel scattered with my thoughts. I don't feel calm. Like I said, I seem calm now and I am, but am a very energized person. I can get more triggered or more anxious, and I hide it very well. I don't have anxiety by any stretch of the means, but everything I do is high intensity. You know, I've got cameras in
mm,
front of me, got microphones in front of me. I'm always in crowds of people. I'm talking in front of crowds of people. Feel there's a lot of pressure on me at all times, really.
yeah,
But I love it. So I have to find ways to completely de-stress and let that go.